Welcome to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast with Ron and Kristin, where leadership meets entertainment. This podcast features stories with names and certain aspects that have been changed to keep submissions private. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast, where leadership meets entertainment. I'm Kristin Sokoloff, and today, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ronnie Ward. Ron, I don't think I can stop doing that to you.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Can you please tell our audience what happened to you just recently?
So, well, I already felt bad about it.
Guy
so
walks into a bar.
Thanks for bringing it up. So, my friend Phil and I, a few podcasts ago, I mentioned that this poor guy had a speech impediment. He was introducing me to speak, and he called me Wonnie Wood. So anyway, I walk into Codfather's, and the bartender there who listens, hi Jess.
Hey Jess.
I walked in, and just a little bit into it, she goes, Wonnie Wood, and then she goes, you're terrible. And I was like, oh my gosh. When people listen, like you think nobody in your area is listening, so you can get by with things. So thanks for bringing that up, Kristin.
Oh, I just thought it was great because I have so much fun saying, I don't say it with the speech impediment, so I'm not that bad. I definitely like to say Ronnie Ward, just rolls off the tongue. Real nice.
Real nice.
All right. Ron.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Kristin. Merry Christmas. And I sent you a gift.
Happy New Year. Yes. Well, I'm using it right now. I did a little post on the gram, but I love it. Drinking out of the mug that has...
Tell our audience about
what
it.
would you call our thumbnail? It's a beautiful ceramic mug. Fits all 4 fingers. And it has our thumbnail for our podcast, the first year and the second year.
Yes.
So very cool. I love it. And I use it all the time. Drinking some peppermint tea right now out of it.
They must have left off those words, Ron's my hero. But hey, you can't expect.
On the mug. They did
all right,
leave
Kristin,
listen.
You know I love you. And everything, right? before we switch gears.
Ruh-roh. Okay.
So Kristin bought me a gift, and I'm always grateful. She got me some kind of steak seasoning last year, and from Portland, and I know it was the Northwest. Yeah. So she got me a gift this year, and I opened it so quickly. I thought it was to hold your cell phone to make videos in the car because I had ordered one. So I opened it, and I'm looking at it, and if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, I'm going to hold it up. It's got a mirror. It's 2 little round things. And
it almost looks like a compact, like a makeup compact.
Well, Kristin, that's what someone told me they thought it was. So I thought you were saying, Ron, please start wearing makeup. Be like Trump and wear makeup.
Put some concealer on.
So
yeah.
I don't know what this is, Kristin. I'm grateful. I really am. What is this?
Okay, so I was just at AmFest, and one of my influencer friends, she pulls this thing out. I'm like, let's snap a picture together. It was the first time we had met in person. Her name's April. She's awesome. So she pulls this thing out of her purse, and I'm like, what is that? So it's basically an O-ring light, so a little light that gives you the great lighting that you need for selfies, and then it's magnetic, so you're not doing that awkward clipping onto your phone. It just is magnetic onto the back of your cell phone. So that's what I sent. But the problem is I forgot to put like a gift note in there. So you just get it along with all your other stuff. You're like, oh, okay. I don't remember ordering this, but like that's how it is these days, right?
I guess I have to take the case off because I'm not
is it
getting
not
any
sticking?
magnet. But
you should.
I love
do a
it.
Product
Kristin,
review.
I love this thing. I can't get the light to turn on either, but
oh, wow. Wow.
I charged it, so I'm going to try it again.
It's not too late to return it or exchange.
So listen, everyone.
Oh my god!
For the record, I'm very grateful to get whatever this is. I love it. It's the best.
Once you can get it working,
Kristin, it's my favorite one I've ever gotten of these.
Oh, I'm sure it doesn't work. Is it magnetic?
Also, Kristin,
it's a China special.
Guess what I'm drinking?
Yeah. Oh. I'm assuming black coffee.
RYZE. They're not a sponsor. They should be.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's what I drink.
You drink it too? I switched over to mushroom coffee. If you've never tried it, it's actually really seriously growing on me. I think I'm not going to go back. It does have some instant coffee in it because I can remember
it does.
Years and years ago, my grandmother kept instant coffee, and I remember what it tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Oh, so you're It's like nostalgia.
That's how I knew it. It was a little nostalgic. But once I put some half and half in there, it really tastes good. This is my second bag. And I was going to do like maybe coffee one day, RYZE the next. Now it's getting to be like RYZE 4 days, coffee one day. And the coffee is just when I have meetings at coffee shops. So I'm sold.
Okay, so I'm curious because I've been drinking that for a while now. And I switched over because I was having like bloating issues. Long story short, I heard that the mushroom coffee or the mushroom tea was an excellent way to help with that. So I'm curious, have you noticed any like physical changes for the positive?
I do think I'm a little less jittery. I told Kristin before.
Okay, that's huge.
When I go to coffee shop meetings, I'll usually end up drinking 2 cups, which is not the norm for me. And I was at one literally I guess it was this week, Saturday. And I had the jitters a little bit because I drank 2 cups. I have to chug some water. So, Kristin, you got a code for me? Can you help me out?
I know. Okay, here's what's funny. Ron didn't know that I'm an affiliate for them, and he switched over because I could be more public about that. So if you guys want to try it, it's KSOK15, and you get 15% off, KSOK15. And like I was telling Ron, you know this, even my dad bought it and he didn't use the code because he didn't even know that I had asked for an affiliate code. So anyhow, get on it. I just started doing that. So if anyone else is looking to change it up, there's so many benefits.
And full disclosure is I asked Kristin to ask me what I was drinking, and she had mentioned she had a code. So I was like, man, give everybody your code.
Yeah, and you and we don't talk as much throughout the week, so it's like I should have told you these things.
No, and
should be invested in your health.
I just really thought it would taste terrible, so I'm excited about it. I really am. We better jump into this because, as you know, New Year's is my favorite. It's probably my favorite episode ever because I get so pumped for those 3 weeks that I reach my goals, and then of course February comes, and then I'm back to normal.
No, I don't believe that. We've been doing this a few years, and I know one of your favorite things to do is to really, you put a lot of thought into this, let's just say, and that's your resolution. So, Ron, I want to know, what is your New Year's resolution going into 2026?
This is the first time my New Year's resolution has actually been lose weight. That's all I wrote down. Lose weight.
Really?
I'm being a little funny, Kristin.
I'm like, I don't think you have anything to lose.
I want to make listen. I've done nothing but go to Christmas gatherings and getting a little pudgy.
Oh, okay.
So we named
that happens to a lot of people.
We named this, Kristin, New Year, Same Brain: Why New Year's Resolutions Fail. And number one, when you ask me my resolution, I always do get motivated to maybe reel myself in a little, but I'm a goal setter. And actually, if you live this, you really shouldn't January should not make a big difference. But having said that, I do know that a lot of people come out of December and they want to change, they want to do better. Yeah. And I understand that. So when you ask me what my resolutions are, really is to, keep doing what I'm doing, keep tracking my progress and growing and all those things. Now, I do have some major business ventures that I will talk about at a later time, and about those, but I thought it would be great, Kristin, and I don't want this to be a failure episode, but we are having so much success in coaching to keep people consistent, but it's all in how you perceive it. It's all in how your brain operates. So we thought it would be great to kind of break that down a little bit and help you understand yourself.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, last New Year's, of course, I started this last year, so it was in December, right after Christmas. So not even like New Year's Day. I started right after Christmas. I'm like, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to have a 6-pack, yada, yada. That didn't happen, but I made some strides. But I say that every year. I'm not going to make it anything physical this year, but we're going to talk about why the new year feels hopeful. And then, like you said, kind of getting into mid-February, it doesn't. So, there's something symbolic about January. We got new calendars, clean slates, a sense that change should be easier now. What else, Ron?
Well, I want, if you're driving, if you're listening, listen very carefully. Your brain is designed to do 2 things when you're born: protect you and comfort you. That's always the default. It's always going to go back to that. So there's a part of the brain called the dorsal striatum. It's in the basal ganglia area, and I don't want to get too scientific, but it's the reward center of the brain.
Yeah.
So when people start a new habit, they start off great because they're motivated, they're getting dopamine, endorphins, they're feeling good, but then you have a bad day. You didn't sleep, you get stressed. Whatever happens, your brain will cry out to you, comfort me, or it's going to say, protect me. And then we miss a day. And here's the big part, Kristin. We miss a day in the brain or the patterns. We look at it as a complete failure. When I help people on diets, they might do good for a week and then they fall off the wagon and they see it as a complete failure. How many people have told you, I used to be in Weight Watchers, I was in it 3 different times?
Oh, absolutely. My own aunts, my mom.
Exactly.
I mean, none of them are like massive or anything, but they all wanted to be smaller.
So what we do is we take what people believe are failures as a setback. And I'm going to give you an example. I had someone call me, this is someone I'm coaching, and they said, I skipped the workout Tuesday. I got in late. This happened, that happened. I said, whoa, wait a minute. We agreed that you would work out.
Yeah.
It's fine to do a light workout. We just don't skip the workout. And I said, I don't care if you do 10 push-ups. Your brain knows you did a light workout instead of the full workout, but you didn't skip the workout. Now, I'm not telling you not to rest, but you schedule your rest just like you schedule your workouts. So, Kristin, there is so much of this is us. You and I have been saying it since we started podcast, train your brain. You got to train your brain. And then eventually, when the ventral striatum part of your brain gets you excited, you're trying new things, it's January, resolutions and all that. And eventually, if you keep going, it will move, the dorsal striatum will take over and the new habit will form.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to just share something because I think other people need to feel like they can relate to this. Like, so for instance, on Christmas night, one of my water mains broke, right? And so that was extremely stressful. They had to come out, shut our water off. They're actually reinstalling water pipes right now. So I've been without water since Friday morning. That's a long time. Anyhow, it's stressful. It's a big bill that we have to pay to get it fixed. And I had been eating clean, and we go to a movie as a family, and I ordered popcorn. And here I am trying to not eat carbohydrates, and I ordered popcorn, right? So then I was like, okay, I can. It was like that. I wanted to feel better, right? We're stressed out. We don't have water running in our home. And that was like, to your point, Ron, that was my brain's way of like comforting me, because that's like one of my favorite comfort foods. But I made sure I got home, I logged it in my app, and I'm like, all right. I gave in at the movie theater, but now it's time to tighten it back up. So you're going to experience that type of thing.
Yeah, you really are. But I did a post one time that it's a sin to go to the movies and not eat popcorn, or never trust.
I know, right?
I said never trust anyone that goes to the movies and doesn't eat popcorn. It's like someone that doesn't drink coffee. Kristin asked me if I did chai tea on this RYZE, and I'm like, what am I, European? No, I don't do.
I do the RYZE chai tea. It's my favorite. It does have 5 carbs in it per serving. Unlike coffee, I think that has 2.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so it's important though. As soon as I got home though, I redirected. I think that should be the takeaway there, right? Like, it's gonna happen. And one time I did bring chicken and rice into the theater because I knew the kids were gonna be ordering crap and I was hungry. And so that was like when I was going really strict. So I didn't do that well, but it's going to happen, and you have to know how to come back from it.
Yeah, Kristin, since you said that, I mean, I went to the movies this week and ate popcorn. I went with my neighbor Kelly, and we watched Handmaid, and I ate half a bucket of popcorn. So I really do have one thing on my list: lose weight. Kristin, what we are trying to say here is that your brain is not wired for efficiency, and it's not wired for many of the things we want. It's wired for survival. Yeah. It really does want to comfort you, and that's why they call it comfort food. So there is this moment when people, let's say you join the gym, there's this moment where you don't even realize it. We teach habit stacking. You build one habit onto another habit, and it tricks your brain instead of calling it a new habit. So here's my point. If people only knew, from the ventral striatum to the dorsal striatum, right at that edge, when you're getting ready to create a habit, your brain is crying out. There's always going to be a bad day. There's always going to be an excuse or a reason. And so many people almost build a new habit right before they quit. And if people could just see into their brain and see what's happening, they would understand that. You're almost there, and then boom. And that's why, I taught a kickboxing class one year. It was so packed, I had to change my routine in January. But then by February, I had plenty of room to maneuver. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, Ron, what about when a habit isn't healthy?
Yeah, and habits are habits. The brain doesn't care as long as it's, again, is feeling comforted. When you look at smoking, you look at excessive drinking, anything like that is a form of comfort. And sometimes anxiety and fear will cause us to get into addictions or just anything to comfort us. There's people who have told me that, I coached a female. She said she would basically sleep with men because in that moment she felt important and comforted. So the brain is always trying to do its own thing, and we have to. It's literally like a rodeo. You gotta throw the rope and saddle your brain, and you kind of got to teach it who's boss. It's really interesting the way the brain operates.
It is. And people that haven't studied it, when I say to my son, even, I'm like, he'll say something like, well, I guess I'm a failure, when I'm trying to correct him and he gets dramatic. And I'll be like, don't say that. Your brain will believe you. He's like, I am my brain. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, once you look into this stuff, you will realize, that's why there's positive affirmations that we say. So the brain is, oh my gosh, there's just so much to it. And so I'm glad we're diving into just this little amount of information, because a lot of people just don't get it, Ron.
No, they don't. And here's the other part. Again, a little bit scientific here. I'm going to go geek. So we've talked about this before, but the hippocampus houses memories. And then the amygdala is your emotions, fear, comfort, all of the things, whether you're feeling safe, you're feeling good, warm, all these things come through the amygdala. So what happens is once we fail, then that's stored as a memory. So you can literally determine the memories that you store. So I tell people to imagine your brain is a computer, and every time you're putting in a good memory, you need to delete about 100 bad memories, because there's more negativity in the world. There's more negative words than positives. People watch the news clips, and trust me,
the news clips that I put out.
Yeah, they follow Kristin and get all depressed. A police officer doing a good deed does not make the news. So if you're not careful, social media, the media, and all these other things, you're just seeing this whole world of negativity. And Kristin, I'm going to tell you, a friend of mine called me from Spain. We're always talking on WhatsApp. And he literally said, I'm going to have to leave because there's basically going to be a caliphate here. Muslims have taken over Spain. And he said, my family and I don't feel safe. And he said, I'd love to. I said, come back to the States. He goes, oh, that's worse than Spain. So he'd been watching.
Oh, he thinks that?
Yeah, he'd been watching news clips.
Gosh.
And I said, buddy, don't think like that. I said, come on back south. We got all the guns. We'll take care of you. But that was his perception from all those miles away, because he only watches news clips. And it shows
and perception becomes your reality, right?
It really does.
I want to talk about, so we've talked about rewiring the mind. And, people treat it like motivation or positive thinking, but that's not really what it is.
No, and that is a problem. And some of the, the power positive thinking was a very monumental book. But again, that doesn't establish a habit. That's the problem, is we get motivated, but usually we're just frustrated instead of motivated. In other words, let's just use your popcorn. You get frustrated because you ate popcorn, so now you're going to do something about it. That doesn't build a habit. We need to build habits from just good thinking. Our prefrontal cortex makes decisions based on all the other neurotransmitters in the brain. We need to make good decisions. And here's the other problem, Kristin. People go extreme on the resolution. I used a funny example. I'm going to run a marathon this year. why don't you start with a 5K there, sweetheart, and let's do it that way. So we set these lofty goals, and then as soon as there's a failure, then we failed. But we really set it out of frustration instead of that desire to live a good, clean, healthy life.
Right, which will bring that longevity. So that's really important. I like that you're talking about that, because it's really rewiring in a sense. And renewing the brain, you have to interpret the everything that it takes. So it's going to take awareness, repetition, and then that reward. And I know you've studied this a lot. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah. We do in coaching, as you know, head, heart, hands, habits. And head is building your knowledge. Your heart is your passion. Your hands, it's what you do. What you do over and over becomes a habit. So that really is it's an old adage, but it's true, and it is the process. And Kristin, I forgot the second part of your question, or part of your question. Tell me that again.
Oh, just breaking down what the awareness, repetition, and reward. And then you know what it made me think of when you were just saying that, the idle hands, the saying idle hands.
Or idle mind's the devil's workshop.
Idle mind. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's exactly right. I remember keeping a journal on myself, and I did a post when I ran the 5K last week, because I got in my car. I was filled with endorphins. I had dopamine, and I was excited. So I did a video, and I just said that if you keep a journal and you talk about how good you felt after that exercise versus the day you didn't exercise, then that helps you understand, that helps motivate you. But again, we've got to do it long enough to establish the new habit. Now, let's go into high performers, because they struggle, right? So if you've got a high performer, they are used to reaching big goals. But here's the problem. I had a friend who basically had to have carpal tunnel. This is a guy that does CrossFit. Okay, had to have carpal tunnel surgery. It's really painful. Hard on the brain. So people who do the big things have never taught themselves to reward themselves in the small things. And I tell people from everything, if you send a good email, Kristin, or you do a good social media post, you need to do a psychological pat on the back. That was good. I worked really hard on that. No typos. It's getting a great response. We need to start rewarding ourselves in the small things. And that way, when something big, even if you are a high performer and you have to have surgery and take some time off, you can still function and keep, from getting depressed. You still can stay focused on something. And I can't tell you enough about how the small wins, celebrating small victories, has helped people in coaching. Because we go to work every day and we never know if we won or not. We just don't know. We worked all day and we come home, we're exhausted, because we never celebrate victories, small victories.
Yeah, absolutely. That is extremely smart. I'm glad you're touching on that. And let's talk about why willpower fails. Many people, I would say most people, rely on willpower to change. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, and when you talk about willpower, let's remember most goals. Please remember this, people. Most goals are uncomfortable. Most goals have a form of pain to go with them. Most goals require a form of discipline to go with them. So willpower is what you brought to the table. So if you didn't reach your goal last year, willpower is not going to get you through, because you've not built your mental muscles. You've not worked yourself to the point that it's become a new habit. So willpower is just not going to do it. Now, it will later. If it becomes a new habit, you can strengthen your willpower. Right. But that's really why we named this New Year, Same Brain, why New Year's resolutions fail. If willpower failed you in the past, it's going to fail you again.
Yeah, that is so true. I have to tell you, I don't think you know this. This is how we don't talk enough throughout the week. So I'm heading up to the Canadian border, so where Washington meets Canada, and my aunt lives up there. And we are attempting, I'm going to be part of an attempt to break a Guinness Book of World Records for the most people doing a polar plunge in the world. So I know it's going to be crazy. So I've done it before. I used to do Wim Hof regularly, which is like the ice, or, the cold showers or the ice dipping in the backyard.
That's my jam.
And the breathing. Yeah. So this is going to be in a large body of water. It's going to be freezing cold, and the wind chill alone is going to be rough. But it's really exciting. So I think we have to be, it was like something like 2,500 people, and there's all these rules. But the Guinness Book of World Records is actually going to be there, making sure we all go in to our waist for 1 minute. Minimum, right?
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to be interesting. And the reason I bring that up is I did this in 2019. I went to this whole polar plunge deal, and it was all of us learning these techniques together. The endorphins and that rush that you get, I swear it carried me through for a whole year to continue that lifestyle. So I'm very excited to see if it's like a renewed sense of, getting back into the routine of it. But it's going to be really interesting to see not only physically the impact, but the mental impact as well.
I absolutely love that. And that's why I told you I document the days when I work out hard. I don't have to do it now, but I used to, because I'm getting the endorphins, I'm getting the dopamine. And then when you calm down, you get serotonin, which is kind of like taking a Valium. I mean, you have got chemicals in your brains that works like narcotics.
Yeah.
And if you can remember that, but what happens is the brain starts to forget that and wants you, again, to comfort yourself. And that's why you remind yourself how good you felt when you were eating clean. You remind yourself how good you felt the last time that you did a really hard workout. And then when you do fail, again, it should be a bump in the road, and you get going again.
Exactly. Weight Watchers used to have a saying, I don't know if they still do, where it's like, nothing tastes as good as being skinny feels or thin feels. And it's so true. It's so true. Like that temporary want to eat a cookie or whatever it is. You saw like how I made like 500 cookies, right? Around Christmas time. I posted a picture. I made literally Ron, like 10 of them got eaten. I was so pissed, but it made for a really nice picture. But, it's so tempting. Now you have all of this junk in the house and you just want to eat it. But it doesn't, you're going to feel like crap after an hour goes by.
Yeah.
And so it's just really hanging on to how you feel when you're doing the right things. And, high performers, you touched on this earlier, high performers do struggle more than others. You and I have both self-identified as a high performer throughout our career and now as entrepreneurs. Talk to us about why this hits leaders especially hard.
Yeah, it really does, because most people that have gone up in their career, they've been goal setters, and they're usually goal reachers. And the problem is that there's things in life that happen. Let me give you an example, Kristin. When I got promoted to Academy Director, it's the first time in my life that I was like, oh my God, I've made it. Like, I didn't have another goal career-wise, because I would have to move to Washington, D.C. to go any higher. And I liked where I was, and it was so weird to me. I mean, I felt like I was in a foreign land, because my whole life I'd been driven. And so I think that because we don't have other components, those small victories I talked about, we don't have other ways that we see ourselves in a better light, that all we focus on is big goals, big things, big dreams, and that's good. But when those don't happen, that's why leaders crash many times. When they don't count their blessings enough, they're not grateful enough for the small things. But in their eyes is always on the prize, and that can get unhealthy. And Kristin, I wanted to just help our audience, and you can jump in here too and tell me if you've experienced this. But I've touched on things. I'm building I'm putting a puzzle together, but I want to make it really clear. One of the best ways to trick the brain is habit stacking. See, your brain, if I said, Kristin, let's run a marathon and let's start running 5 miles a day, your brain...
I'd say no.
Well, you're too smart for that, Kristin. But your brain would see that as a brand new habit. But what if I just said, hey, Kristin, let's start running 3 times a week. Let's run a mile. And you start running a mile, and it started, and you're kind of getting like, hey, this didn't feel nearly as bad as it did last week. You do that. Then I might say, hey, Kristin, let's run a 5K, 3.2 miles. You're doing great on the mile. Then your brain might say, okay, I guess we can let that slide.
Yeah, that slow build.
This is exactly how your brain works. Yeah, that slow build. This is how your brain works. So I would be tricking you, Kristin, into running this marathon. And that's how we trick the brain. We want to shrink the behavior and understand. And we want to make the changes small, gradual. Yeah. We also want to reward immediately. If we don't reward ourselves for running 1 mile, we're certainly not going to be equipped to run a marathon.
Yeah.
But
one of my favorite movies, Ron, What About Bob? Do you remember that?
I know why you love it, though. That's got Bill Murray.
Because he's Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. He's also a hypochondriac, like a severe hypochondriac. Yeah. And the book that was recommended to him by his psychologist was Baby Steps. And so it's exactly what you're talking. He's like, baby steps out of the office, baby steps onto the train, right? Yes. So, but that, that's like obviously the Hollywood version, but it's so true. And I do this regularly. It's like, just focus on one thing and then you check it off and you go to the next. Otherwise, it's super overwhelming. So I truly believe in your approach that you're talking about. And I think of it as, taking those baby steps towards a larger goal and tricking your brain, to your point.
I want you to imagine this, Kristin. That's great. That's great information you're sharing. Imagine this. You and I do the 1 mile, okay? And you haven't run in a while. And we finish, and I go, good job, and I go get in the car and drive off, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to picture this. We run the mile. I give you a high five, and I go, you killed it. That was awesome. And I'm celebrating. Your brain is going to get extra endorphins and dopamine because of that. And your brain's going to be like, wow, that's a pretty good celebration. Maybe we can do this again tomorrow. Right. Basically, your brain repeats what gets rewarded. And that's physical or psychological. Your brain will keep doing it if it's getting rewarded. And I think we just don't give ourselves enough grace. We don't give ourselves a pat on the back, the way we should. And again, I want to repeat this. I had someone who absolutely... We do shared agreements in coaching. In other words, not directives, but shared agreements. Like, Kristin, can we agree that you're going to start running a mile? And then if you agree, then I'm holding you accountable and I've got buy-in. Exactly.
Right.
So this person worked out. They absolutely said, I'm doing 5 days a week working out because I've gained weight. I'm miserable. I said, okay, I agree with you. You're going to do 5 days. Well, day 5 comes around. Well, there's actually one good week. Then the next week, here it comes. And I already knew it was going to happen. So we talk. Yeah. I said, so how'd the workout go today? By the way, I did an assumptive close. I said, how'd the workout go? Yeah. I could have easily said, you didn't work out because...
I like assumption.
Yeah. They already said that they got home late and stuff. So I could just tell.
They were setting you up for an excuse.
They were setting me up. So I said, how'd the workout go? They said, I didn't work out. I said, well, guess what? The night's not over. You can do a light workout, but you can't skip a workout. And this person ended up, I said, even if you do 10 push-ups, they ended up doing like 25 push-ups. And I said, how did that feel? And they said, not nearly as bad as skipping.
There you go. Nailed it.
You got to reward the brain.
Yes. I love that. People don't realize, like, I go to the gym often, but I have off days where I'll do a workout video to this YouTube gal it's like walking in your living room, right? And I get a really good workout out of it. But it's like, there are some days I don't make it to the gym, but I do the workout in my living room, right? So I'm still checking that box. Might not be to that same velocity that I want, right? Where you're not getting the same speed and you're not getting the same results, but you're doing something, right? So your brain really appreciates that. I want to segue into a leadership application of all of this. And we've talked numerous times, this podcast is not just for leaders who sit in a boardroom or in an office. Like, leadership is everywhere. Talk to us, Ron, about why leadership application, why this matters. Why do leaders need to model behavior, whether they realize it or not?
Yeah, it's so good because people watch your habits way more than you think. Yeah. And I remember I had this chief U.S. probation officer. He was a runner at lunch. He dressed sharp. He wore the top suits, good-looking person. And they would bust out 7 miles at lunch, he and another person in the federal building. And knowing that, and this person would come back, be at their desk, it blew me away a little bit.
Would they shower before the desk?
Yeah, there was a shower.
Or was it one of those cat baths where they just splash water?
No, I think
from
this
the
guy
sink?
was pretty. This guy, he really looked like he was a model.
Put
You know,
together.
he was good
Oh,
looking,
okay.
and
He's taking a shower then.
and and I think his wife made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. I mean, he wore a Rolex. He wore the, Armani shoes. Like he was up there. So
okay.
anyway, but I liked the way he dressed. It was cool. But knowing that he was running every day. So, and we've used a lot of exercise, but folks, this translates to anything you're doing. But I want to say one more thing, since we're helping people, renew the mind and build new habits. You said it, Kristin. You have to know what motivates you, but you also have to know what makes you crash. So, Kristin, if you skipped your gym workout and you did nothing, but you realized I can turn on this video and still get something in, and that worked for you. So if you don't know yourself, we can't lie to yourself. I tell everybody in coaching, you got to get a PhD in you. What motivates you? I'm coaching someone right now. I said, hey, if you work out. Now, this was a shared agreement again. This person gave up Dr. Pepper. And it was their favorite thing.
I have an uncle who's addicted to Dr. Pepper. Interesting you bring that up.
There you go. Does he go to Dr. Pepper Anonymous?
Oh, I mean, he should. I won't go into detail, but it's a real situation. Situation.
Wow. Anyway.
I'm talking like 24.
I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. Remember that commercial?
No.
You're too young. Kristin, it was the best commercial. It was, I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. She's a pepper. We're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't feel like Dr. Pepper's as big out here. I know it's like huge. He's in Texas. I know it's like huge in Texas. And anyways, carry on.
Anyway.
Sorry. I just was like, wow, another Dr. Pepper addict.
So what we did, picture this, folks. She agreed if she worked out 5 days. On Friday, she gets a Dr. Pepper. Now, I was very specific. I said, I want you to put it in a glass. I want you to put ice in there. And when you pour it, I want you to listen. Stick your ear and listen to that Dr. Pepper fizzle. I'm serious, Kristin. This sounds funny.
Okay. It does.
She said this was the best Dr. Pepper and moment that she could ever remember having. So she was rewarding herself for a job well done, but she took it in deeper. It was richer. It sounded better. It tastes better because she paid something for it. She'd worked for it. And this is another element in that reward center. Listen, we don't have to be perfect, but make sure that if you are, they call it a cheat day. I don't like to use that. Just make sure it's a reward day. And you're rewarding yourself with something to celebrate your victories, to celebrate accomplishments. Now, I do something, folks, you don't have to take this, but this is something that I do. And someone asked me this in a training. If I miss workouts, then I punish myself. I do.
I know someone that
I
does
do
that.
one a lot harder, and I think about if you hadn't skipped, you wouldn't have to do this extra set. Now, remember when I say get to know yourself, that works for me. That may not work for everybody, but I'm not sadistic, Kristin, but I do punish myself for
No,
skipping.
you're not alone. I used to work with a guy who would do that. He'd be like, I'm punishing myself. He's like, I had alcohol the night before, so I'm making myself fast until 5 p.m. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, if that works for you, I get it, because then you're like, it's people crave that. There has to be an understanding of there's a ramification for behaviors, right? And I think there's just all too little of that right now. And so it's like, if I do A, B is going to happen. The problem is right now, a lot of times B isn't happening.
Yeah.
So you're basically setting those parameters for yourself.
Very true.
So it makes complete sense.
Good stuff.
I think it's important that we think about this. We've been diving into this for half an hour now, and bringing it to close to a close here. I think it's important that we stop blaming ourselves for how our brains are wired. Ron, I know that you are all about building habits that will actually work with your brain versus against your brain. We've been touching on that. Can you build that out a little bit more?
Yeah. We are hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critic.
Yeah.
And we also compare ourselves. Stop going to the gym and looking at, the Mr. and Mrs. over there that's been training every day for a year and
Yeah.
they got no other life, trust me, and
Right.
they get off on looking in the mirror at themselves. Don't worry about that. You got to find out what works for you. Give yourself some grace. If you
Yeah.
do what you consider failed, then you start again. Know yourself, get a workout partner, get someone that you admire at work and get them to help you. And what we want to see as people go into 2026 with, we titled this New Year, Same Brain, Why Resolutions Fail. Let's call it New Year, Same Brain, Smarter Strategy. And that's what we want to see.
I like it. That's excellent. I'm going to go. So my gym just had a remodel and it was closed for like 4 days. So I'm stressed out because there's this machine. I have my routine when I go to the gym, depending on what muscle group I'm working. Plus I start with this 30-minute cardio machine. It's almost like a salsa. It's like one of those ellipticals, but it goes sideways versus straight forward. I don't know if you've seen them before, but there's only one at the gym. And I was so stressed out. I literally had anxiety that they were going to get rid of that one machine because I swear I'm the only one that uses it. But so here I am, Ron. I need to get all psyched up because I'm going to go to the gym and I am stressed out because I have to now approach my routine not knowing where all the different machines are. Is my cardio machine still going to be there? What advice would you say to somebody who's going into a new situation that usually feels familiar, and there's anxiety around that?
Yeah, no, that is absolutely a great question. Everything is mindset. Everything's relative. If you treat something as an adventure, it triggers the striatum in your brain. Whereas if you do the dorsal striatum, then you're relying on your old habits. So you have to, the ventral striatum, I was trying to think of the word. You look at things as an adventure. In other words, I'm going to go and appreciate the new stuff. I'll figure it out quickly. Yeah. And in my body language, I teach people never go in ducking and jiving. You walk in strong, look around, hesitate. Yeah. But Kristin, just be sure this is a breakthrough that I had on someone procrastinated, and I'm sorry this come up at the end. I hope people are still listening. But I told them, if you procrastinate or if you've been out of commission for a while, celebrate before, during, and after. Celebrate when you're putting on your sneakers or your workout attire that I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to feel so good later. Then when you walk in the gym, I did it. I'm here. I'm going to get it done. And then when you leave, I did it. I got this behind me. I got to work out. Yeah. And Kristin, it's hard for people to work out. It really is because they work all day. They got kids. We get it. Totally. And that's where I said sometimes you may have to have workarounds. But start by habit stacking. If you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth, stack a habit to that I'm going to do 15 push-ups and get a little blood flow. I told you, Kristin, that I shower and then I turn it on ice cold. I put it on my face first, then I put it on my back. I do stretch because of my lower back, but I don't want to get anybody to have an image and wreck their car. But if you're driving, listening to me stretch.
You stretch in the shower while it's cold?
I put it on my lower back and I stretch. And,
okay.
And it really, I'm loose by the time I get out. I feel like I've accomplished something. I've got endorphins. I'm ready to go.
All right.
There we go.
No, I think that's great. Sorry, now I'm visualizing that, Ron. I'm like, wait, but doesn't the heat loosen it up? But hey, if it's working for you, that's one of those things.
Well, ice reduces swelling. It reduces swelling.
Oh, I see. So the swelling is going down as you. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I hope I'm not doing it for nothing.
Well, the benefits for just circulation alone in the lymphatic drainage is incredible.
Yeah.
I should have been doing that leading up to my polar plunge here. But I'll tell you what, being fully submerged is a different ball game. My husband's actually quite nervous, even though he does the cold shower every single day.
It's going to be so exhilarating, though.
It will.
I guarantee you're going to feel like $1 million when you get out of there. I should do a live stream on my shower and like a Facebook live stream.
Just have like it where it's picking up like the body heat, so it just shows the outline.
Oh gosh!
Or what you can walk people through. Okay, now I've moved on.
Folks, everybody's stressed out. I wanted to give you a laugh. Listen, gas prices are down. Scott Bassett said they're getting a few kinks worked out with the tariffs, and I am going into this year, my business is going to boom. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to appreciate life. I'm going to have my faith in check, give God the glory, and it's going to be a big year. That's how I'm going into it. How about you, Kristin?
I love it. Yeah, really the same. I'm not setting like a weight loss goal or anything I'm just going to continue doing what I know works. I built a great routine with going to the gym through the summer, and I'm just going to carry that on through the new year. For me, of course, with what I do, I'm always like trying to add something to the list every year. What can I do that's bigger, right? And so far, ever since I started out on my own in 2020, every year I've achieved more and more and more. And so that's really exciting. So I just want to keep with that trajectory.
No, that's great. And I'm going to go put some makeup on with this Christmas gift I got.
Hey, if that thing,
if
you can't get it working, I will exchange it or return it. So just let me know.
All right.
Oh, I have to just follow up. Our last episode, the one that aired right before Christmas, we were talking about Christmas gifts, right? And I had said that I regift. Like, I'm not ashamed of regifting because I think it's like you're not wasting that way, right? So
wait, so this is a used makeup compact?
No. Sorry, I'm totally different subject. It's something I received on Christmas Day. So I'm like opening it, and it was a coffee mug, not the one you gave me. See, the reason I mentioned all 4 fingers go through the one you gave me is that's preferable, right? You see, I'm holding it. You can actually hold it. It's not funky. So I got a coffee mug, and it was really cute. It was one of those form over function. It was like a really cute coffee cup. But I could only get 2 fingers in the oh my gosh, what is this
handle
called, Ron? Handle. Holy cow! I thought I had. It's been a long week with no water. But anyhow, I could only get 2 fingers in the handle, and I was immediately in my head was like, I'm gonna regift this. Like, and I already like had a plan for it, right? I'm like, I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's really cute. Thank you so much. In my mind, I had already moved on from it, right? So it's just one of those things where
I'm glad we let you get that off your chest.
I am a regifter.
So it's gotten dark here in Charleston.
I noticed that.
I'm downsizing, so I got rid of my studio lights. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble and you can barely see me, that's the reason.
Make Ron record different time next time.
It started well. I'm going to have to get some different lights, I guess. But anyway, guys, we are so grateful for you. We have had such a blast this year doing this podcast, and we've got a Facebook group. And we had people saying they were thankful for the podcast, and that's what we do this for. Yeah. We hope that something in here can help you. There's people that got a lot out of parenting, and sometimes they just get motivated. But we also like to laugh and have a good time. I don't think leadership's boring. I think it's exciting, and Kristin does as well. So we're just so grateful. There's so many countries. We've been downloaded. How many? 89 countries, I think. And
it's insane.
It's crazy. But if you're
listening, we talked about the Germans. The Germans are big fans.
If you're listening around the world, we really appreciate you taking time, and please tell people about it. And of course, we're patriots. We love the U.S. and we want this thing to be the year for the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast. Also,
yes, absolutely. I was gonna say "Breaken Sie Deutsche." Am I even saying that right?
That's like you speak German.
Breaken Sie Deutsche, baby. I was gonna say that. It was on the tip of my tongue. I'm like, the problem is I don't even know what it means. So there's that. So
I think it means
I'm
I speak
assuming
German.
It's not bad.
If you're from Germany, please let us know. And by the way, I just ate at a German table in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So that was Nick's German table. It was amazing, amazing food. They had the mulled wine. It was just amazing. But we can go on and on, Kristin. It's going to be the new year by the time we finish.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes. All right, everybody. Be the leader you're meant to be.
We'll see you next year.
The Dirty Side of Leadership podcast is brought to you by Forward Operations. If you'd like to book Ron or Kristin for speaking events, training, or executive coaching, visit forwardoperations.com. Be the leader you're meant to be.